Luke Inman back again in the eDraft.com studios, just moments away from the kickoff of the 2015 NFL season. Wow. With that comes a new chance and a fresh start to make a name for yourself, to your friends, family, colleagues, and really the rest of the world that you, yes you, are indeed an elite fantasy football mind. Follow me. I'm going to show you some value plays for week one in daily league formats, specifically FanDuel.com. These guys are flying under the radar and going to give you a great bang for the buck, allowing you to go grab an elite player at their respective position later on to build the ultimate FanDuel roster. Saying that, let's start at the top with the quarterback. He's becoming a popular and sexy pick as a more than adequate quarterback. Bradford has looked sharp in his preseason playing time, going 11 for 11 in his last outing, reminding us just how good and accurate the number one overall pick can still be. In what looks to be a shootout style game against the Atlanta Falcons, Bradford has a high floor and even higher ceiling, as he could start the season with a bang in controlled climates in the Georgia Dome, while he goes blow for blow with Matt Ryan and company. I like him better than Tony Romo and Russell Wilson, and you can save a pretty penny along the way. For just $7,500, Bradford is hard to stay away from because, as we all learned, with Chip Kelly, it really doesn't matter who's under center, you're going to score points. Don't be fooled. This isn't the Doug Martin you've been used to. No, this is a new and improved wrecking ball that once ran for over 1,400 yards and 11 touchdowns. All signs from off-season workouts and preseason action point to Martin having busted out of the shell that has put him in the bust category the last two seasons. But after talking to sources close to the Bucs organization, they have reassured me that Martin's preseason production is no fluke and that the running back is primed for a huge bounce-back year. In a game where the Bucs will likely lean on the running game to take pressure off rookie quarterback Jameis Winston, Martin will be the focal point of the Bucs game plan, and at $6,900, he offers a huge upside and the makings of a breakout sleeper candidate against an average at best Titans rush defense. He's a guy that doesn't spark much buzz or excitement when you hear his name, but when it comes to building the perfect Week 1 FanDuel lineup, Chris Ivory's a guy you need to think long and hard about. A juicy matchup in Week 1 against the 31st ranked rush defense in the Cleveland Browns. Ivory plays in a run-first offense that's going to feed him the ball early and often, as he's the clear-cut go-to tailback in the Jets' backfield. He's not going to catch a ton of balls, and for that reason, he does get overlooked in these PPR formats and leagues, but he's a candidate for a 100-yard game with multiple touches near and around the goal line, hopefully for that 1-yard plunge into the end zone. For just $6,400, Ivory's an under-the-radar prospect that is going to get at least double-digit points and has the potential to have a monster game with his team's inconsistent quarterback play. Garcon is a guy who fell off the map last year in a turmoil-filled season, along with his teammates, stemmed from an injury-riddled and inconsistent quarterback play led by Robert Griffin III. Now, it wasn't long ago Garcon was one of the best in the biz at hauling in passes when he plucked 113 balls on an astounding 184 targets just 2 seasons ago. Now, with Kirk Cousins named the starter, Garcon will be one to reap the benefits of the pure pocket passer. In fact, just last year, Garcon had his best game of the season in Week 3, with Cousins under center catching 11 balls for 138 yards. Garcon puts you in a perfect opportunity to separate yourself from the pack in tournament plays, because while the rest of your league is jumping on the Davante Adams train, for the same price, Garcon is primed for a huge game and is flying under the radar, helping you distance yourself from your opponents. As much as the matchups play a crucial role into building your team week by week, Ultimately, at the end of the day, for my money, it comes down to the pure talent of that individual player. If you don't know about him by now, I'm here to tell you, Cardinals second-year receiver John Brown is the real deal. Yeah, Brown is living up to the hype, as the 2014 third-round pick has already drawn comparisons to guys like Antonio Brown and Marvin Harrison with his precise route running and explosive top-notch speed. Brown had an inconsistent rookie season that went hand-in-hand with inconsistent quarterback play, but now has a healthy Carson Palmer under center who will look his way repeatedly Sunday and what's shaking out to be a favorable matchup against the Saints, who could put the Cardinals offense in plenty of passing situations as they look to play catch-up. Las Vegas Bookies has this game as one of the top 5 games when it comes to most points scored, and in a PPR format where you receive points per reception, such as FanDuel.com, Brown is a wideout who should see plenty of targets at a bargain price. With tight ends, if you don't get one of the top 2 in Rob Gronkowski or Jimmy Graham, it starts to become a little bit of a crapshoot. While Greg Olsen and Travis Kelce seem like solid plays, you can save some money and take a stab at a handful of other guys who share equal upside. My personal favorite this week is Colts' Dwayne Allen for just $5,300. A guy who has beaten out Coby Fleener for the pass-catching tight end position in that offense. Allen gets to play with one of the best fantasy quarterbacks around and could be the safety net for Andrew Luck against a dominating Bills front four. Throw in some red zone targets, and Allen's potential is worth the price tag. Remember, these are value plays, meaning grabbing just 3 or 4 of these guys puts you in a great position to go get a few elite players at their own respected position. Here's an example of a team that we here at eDraft are submitting come Sunday. And as you can see, rolling with Chris Ivory and Doug Martin allowed us to put the top 2 receivers on the board into play with Julio Jones and Odell Beckham Jr. Kickers are typically a crapshoot, so I don't like breaking the bank on them. But in general, I look to target kickers on teams that should be in a shootout style game. This week, the Cowboys versus Giants, Eagles versus Falcons, and Packers versus the Bears all will be slugfests. Defensive plays that make sense for me: the New York Jets at home with a brand new talented secondary against Josh McCown, the Carolina Panthers against Blake Bortles, and the Houston Texans, mainly because I've been watching a lot of HBO Hard Knocks. These are just tips and fantasy advice, but remember, this is supposed to be fun and stress-free, so don't put too much time into this and start to overthink things. Go with your gut and trust your instincts, because more times than not, it's typically right. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe below, and stay tuned for plenty more fantasy advice as the week and the season rolls on. For everybody at eDraft.com, I'm Luke Inman, signing out.